Farming is an integral part of our culture, and so tonight we take a closer look at prospects of 2019 farming season in Nigeria. Good evening and welcome to tonight's edition of Weekend File. Well, Nigeria is currently in the main season cultivation, and with the expected favorable distribution of rainfall across most parts of the country, farmers are engaged in normal level cultivation. Reports indicate availability and affordability of farming inputs, improved seeds and seedlings, as well as funding through Anchor Borrower Scheme, which will lead to increased level of cultivation. However, major challenges to increase food production, according to experts, include high labor costs, crop pests, diseases, quota
of your subordinates.
Actors domiciled in the country and outside our borders, we must be decimated.
The war on terror, President Buhari said, is being won on all sides and commend forces for
prevail, praying that God will restore peace and amity to the country. Meanwhile, the Inspector General of Police, Muhammad Adamu Abubakar, has assured the nation that the killers of Funke Olakunre, daughter of the leader of the Pan-Yoruba Socio-Cultural Organization, Afenifere, Chief Reuben Fasharanti, will certainly be found and made to face the full weight of the law. In a statement by the First Public Relations Officer, the IGP notes that the Ondo State Police Command, backed by seasoned investigators from the First Criminal Investigation Department, the Intelligence Response Team, and the Technical Intelligence Unit deployed from the First Headquarters, Abuja, on his directives, have already commenced a massive manhunt for the killers with a view to tracking, arresting, and bringing them to justice. While condemning the heinous and barbaric crime, the IGP, as part of measures to prevent a future occurrence of such incidents, has ordered the total overhaul of security architecture on the highways in the southern part of the country, reiterating the fact that the force will not rest on its oars until sanity is restored in every nook and cranny of the country. And in Akure, sympathizers continued to troop into the family house of Afenifere leader Reuben Fasharanti following the killing of his daughter Funke Olakunre. Olajide Bello reports that the Ondo State governors of Ondo and Oyo states and members of Yoruba Socio-Cultural Group Afenifere were among early callers.
We had just passed Ore on our way to Lagos when 6 armed men came out from the bush and started shooting at our vehicle. In the process, my madam was hit by the bullets while I escaped into the bush.
Pockets of sympathizers, including Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu, the DG of Akure, Alade Lucy Alade Toyinbo, and the Chief Judge of the state, Olanrewaju Akeredolu, were at the Fasharanti family house to condole with the 94-year-old father of the deceased and his wife.
Some measures must have to be taken. We must prevent this. We must take whatever step we want to take not to allow this to happen again.
It is not the time to even look at ourselves as belonging to different ideological setup or different political party.
Other sympathizers called on relevant authorities to bring the perpetrators of the act to justice. A statement by Ondo State Police Command indicates that preliminary investigations reveal the incident was not a targeted attack on anyone, as the perpetrators are bandits and criminals who were out to rob, kidnap, or abduct for ransom, and promised that the perpetrators will be fished out and brought to justice.
He entered the bush following them combing
So far, that has not yielded any result, but we have reinforced security in that area.
The late Funke Olakunrin was attacked on Friday, 12th of July, while traveling from the Akure-Ore axis en route to Lagos. She was aged 58. In Akure, Olajide Bello, NTA News.
In other news now, Nigeria's Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has inaugurated 650 housing units in Iselazaba, Delta State. Ifeoma Okafor reports.
It was a heroic welcome for the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, at Iselazaba, an Ochonok local government area of Delta State, as he inaugurated some landmark projects, including the 650 housing units at Iselazaba.
It is a very special pleasure to formally commission this housing estate, 650 houses, for the benefit of the people of Delta State and to the glory of God.
The Vice President also inaugurated the 20.29-kilometer Obotobo 1 and 2 Sekobolu-Yokri roads at Ogulaha in Brutu local government area and Phase 1 and 2 township roads at Okeronkoko in Warri Southwest. Ifeoma Okafor, NTA News.
The federal government says it will no longer tolerate incessant threats to life and property in border communities across the country. Nigerian ambassador to Benin Republic, Kayode Oguntuashe, made this known while on a fact-finding mission to the Dongeji Island in Ogun State, where the community has been grappling with constant threats of invasion by neighboring Benin Republic. Our correspondent Musa Toliat was on the entourage of the ambassador. But I seem to be having difficulties with that report. Now, Nasarawa State government says it is committed to continuity of programs and policies by previous administration towards fulfilling aspirations of the people in key economic sectors. Joshua Ojito reports that the governor, Abdullahi Sule, underscores this during an inspection of Lafia Electricity Substation.
This is one of the life-changing infrastructure being executed in Nasarawa State by the Buhari administration. It is to address the power challenge in the state and other neighboring states. Realizing the role of power to the growth of small and medium-scale enterprises, Governor Abdullahi Sule defies the early morning rain and inspects progress of work.
But I'm sorry I put you in the rain, but I'm determined that I wanted to come and see the project, and I'm trying to find out from you what do we need to do.
He says the government of Nasarawa State will continue to support the project, its timely completion for the benefit of the state. Similarly, the governor inspects progress of work at the special school in Gudi. Currently, the level of work done so far is put at 90%. Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
Nigeria is endowed with lots of natural resources to develop her economy, and experts project the solid mineral sector as one area that has enormous potentialities. This was the subject of a discourse when students of architecture from Nnamdi Azikiwe University visited the production factory of the West African Ceramic Limited in Ajokuta, Kogi State. Austin Anyebe was there for NTA News.
The West African Ceramic Limited Royal brand is a good example of a private industry that has key into the vision of the present administration. The company produces various brands of tiles, granite, marbles, and petrified ceramic products of all kinds, and sanitary wares and other decorative finishings. The company has also introduced into Nigerian construction industry new roofing tiles of the highest grade and durability that lasts for ages when fixed. This explains why the company is engaging students students in the building sector to tell them about the quality of building products abound in Nigeria, hence a visit to the factory by the students of architecture from Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Oka, led by the human resources manager of the company, Bello Abraham. The students were taken through the production line, beginning from raw material dump of limestones and marble stones, crushing unit, chippings, and milling down to finishing.
We are also insisting that they have to use local made in Nigeria materials for all Nigerians, because enough materials are there. The same material, if you use that the socio-economic prosperity will increase, the per capita income is going to increase, the importation will reduce.
We appreciate what the president did recently of not giving foreign exchange for importation of ceramic.
The visitors who understand the dynamics in the ceramic industry, which source 95% of its raw materials locally, pledge to change the narrative of Nigeria's growing economy.
I think we as architects and every other person in the country should be looking inwards.
As a private sector with tremendous respect for corporate social responsibility, for economic development and job creation, West African Ceramic Limited has, among other intervention programs in education, health, and road construction within the host community, has employed more than 2,000 Nigerians. Under the partnership between the company and the university, students upon the tour of the factory were put to test, of which the best 3 will be given scholarship. From Abuja, Kogi State, Austin Anyebe, NTA News.
Massive investment in the agricultural sector has been identified as panacea for stemming the tide of incessant monumental crises that plague the country. An agriculturist, Professor Mohammed Kutaya, said this at the 459th inaugural lecture of the University of Ibadan. Shola Wahid has the report.
Poverty, destitution, joblessness, corruption, among others, have been identified as factors responsible for the spate of insecurity in the country. Speaking on the topic, Voice of the Voiceless, Hungered, Professor Kutayaya explained that all hands must be on deck to ensure that the country enjoys relative peace to enhance all-round development in Nigeria. He urged government at all levels and the private sector to invest in education and empower farming communities to enhance good standard of living.
They have a chance now. I've given them the voice and the government has listened, and I think they will do something about extension and communication in the Nigerian agricultural system.
The inaugural lecture, which was one of a kind, featured goodwill messages.
The need for all of us to be brothers keepers and ensure that there is peace in the country so that we are all Nigerians, not from the north, not from the east, not from the south.
It is very rare to see a man in the whole Nubian land to have demonstrated this kind of expression.
All the contents of that lecture, if being considered and put into use, it will go a long way to solving our social, economic, and political issues we have in this country.
It has been able to bring to the fore the fact that you cannot compartmentalize knowledge.
They clamored for an efficient agricultural value chain development, with the media playing positive roles of enlightenment. In Ibadan, Shola Wahid, NTA News.
Now, the Department of Petroleum Resources, DPR, has suspended the popular gas company in Lagos. The suspension follows the unauthorized removal of DPR seal from one of the company's gas stations in Ayobo area of Lagos. Thomas Ogbetere reports.
As a result of the unauthorized removal of the DPRO seal to continue business in a popular gas station in Lagos, the Department of Petroleum Resources DPR suspended business activities of the gas station nationwide. According to the leader of the DPRO team, the gas station was sealed in the first place as a result of operating without a license.
We first came here sometime in March and sealed the place, and we had to take very strong action because we found out that our seal was violated. So we had to place the operator, Petrocam, under nationwide suspension.
The sanction from DPRO forced the company to comply by dismantling the gas station in Ayobo area of the state.
It's a requirement by the DPR that we dismantle it.
The DPRO team also proceeded to Igondo area where they unsealed another gas station having complied and met the conditions that led to the sealing of the station earlier.
We are using this medium to tell all gas plant operators that the motto in the oil industry is safety first.
Operators of gas stations across the country were warned to adhere strictly to the rules and regulations guiding the industry. In Lagos, Thomas Ogbetere, NTA News.
The task of nation building is a responsibility that must be collectively undertaken by men and women who have the will and vision to accomplish greatness, not for themselves, their immediate family members, friends, but for the country. These resonate with the character of late General Olumiyowa Abisoye, described to have lived a selfless life worthy of emulation. Abdullahi Musa Suleja was at the late General Abisoye's inaugural lecture held in Abuja.
For any deceased person to have a foundation established and named after him means he or she must have impacted positively on the society while alive. That is the story of late Major General Emmanuel Olumuyiwa Abisoye, who has been honored by University of Abuja as a way of showing appreciation to him for services rendered. As the first chairman governing council of the university, testimonies depicted the late general as an invaluable icon who led foundation of governance with integrity, sterling leadership qualities, commitment and selfless service.
We had to do our duty to ensure that we keep this country one together.
The inaugural lecture themed Nation Building or Fragmentation, reflection on 20 years of post-military rule in Nigeria, believes that if people in the opposition of authority can have good, selfless and exemplary leadership qualities, Nigeria will find a way to its quest for greatness.
We will need responsive and responsible models like the late General Emmanuel Abisoye that will make the people feel the real fruits of patriotism and the real fruits and benefits and value of loyalty as citizens.
Speakers were emphatic that for Nigeria to achieve greatness, vices like bigotry, sectionalism, and self-centeredness must be done away with.
Patriotism and excellence are the key criteria of what General Abisoye stood for.
It is the stand of the Major General Olumoyiwa Abisoye Foundation to, among other things, keep his memory of selfless and patriotic service to the nation and humanity alive for the upcoming generation. Abdullahi Musa Suleja, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari joins the media industry, particularly This Day newspaper, Arise Magazine and Arise TV family in celebrating the chairman of Leaders Company Limited, Ndoka Obebena, on his 60th birthday. A statement by the special advisor to the president on media and publicity, Femi Adesina, says the president congratulates the media entrepreneur for his visionary and adventurous leadership style of establishing trademark communication outfits that have remained outstanding in informing Nigerians about the world around them. The president salutes Obiagbene's courage in assembling a team of brilliant journalists and administrators who started This Day newspaper and the groundbreaking strides they have made, and wishes the celebrant longer life, good health and prosperity. Now, to project food security outcomes, there is need to develop a set of assumptions about likely events, their effects, and probable responses from various actors. That's more of what we'll be doing next as we bring you correspondence report on food security and prospects of 2019 farming season after this break. This is Weekend File.
Enjoy the best of African football as NTA, Africa's largest television network and hotspots, Nigeria's foremost sports production and marketing company, bring you all 52 matches of the Africa Cup of Nations, Egypt 2019 live from June 21 to July 19, 2019. Yes, all 52 games will hit your screens in crystal clear digital quality. It's your guarantee of a memorable viewing experience and a wonderful cost-effective opportunity for corporate Nigeria to reach tens of millions of Nigerians. For sponsorship and commercial support, contact Abubakar on 0803-331-0175 and Felix on 0803-308-2375. Hot Sports, masters of the game. NTA, you can't beat the reach.
The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, invites all secretaries to state governments, permanent secretaries, heads of cabinet affairs offices in the South-South geopolitical zone consisting of Akwa Ibom, Cross River, Rivers, Bayelsa, Edo and Delta states to the third in the series of the regional meeting for secretaries to the state governments and heads, permanent secretaries of cabinet affairs offices, which is a follow-up meeting on the outcome of the maiden meeting held in the second quarter of 2019 in Abuja for secretaries to the state government, permanent secretaries, heads of cabinet affairs offices. The meeting is designed to, among other things, develop a synergy between the cabinet affairs offices at the federal and state levels in order to develop a framework for a community of practice. The follow-up meeting is scheduled to hold as follows. Date, Tuesday, July 16, 2019. Time, 10 a.m. Venue, Best Western Elomas Hotel, Delta Broadcasting Service, DBS Road, Asaba, Delta State. Announcer, Babatunde Lawal, Permanent Secretary, Cabinet Affairs Office, Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation.
They are there at the crack of dawn. They are there busy preparing while we rise for our day. They are there silently, guarding, waiting, listening, and watching. They are there ready in the sky above and the waters below, in the blistering heat of the day, in the dead of night, willing, indefatigable, determined in the defense of the sovereignty of our country. They are our first line of defense and our last. They who have paid the ultimate price in defending us. They are fathers and uncles. They are mothers and sisters and girlfriends and boyfriends. They are brothers and cousins and best friends and neighbors. They are classmates, colleagues, and citizens of this nation. They are our defenders and deserve our respect, our prayers, our thoughts. Nigeria, please support our armed forces.
These days, people get their news and information from more media sources than ever before. Some of the news and information given are fake, unverified, doctored, and manufactured to create confusion, stir disaffection, and cause disunity. Before you believe or share any news, ask yourself, is this real? Is it from a credible source? Is it verified or verifiable? Fake news is dangerous. Whether you do it for fun or for political gains, real people can get hurt. Fake news, don't create it, don't spread it.
This is a public service announcement from NTA.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us up to this moment. Now let's get started with our correspondence report. First from Akure, Ondo State, where investigation shows that lack of information on how to access high-yield seedlings is a major challenge for farmers in the state. Doris Olumoko reports on how this issue is being addressed this year.
Basic farming inputs like seeds, seedlings, and fertilizer are the foundation of a successful farming season in bumper harvest. However, agricultural experts say, in most cases, farmers get it wrong from the seed and seedlings, which result in low yield.
And most farmers, instead of buying certified seeds, the one you are seeing with me now is a certified seed from Premier Hybrid. You see, this one could produce between 2 to 3 hectares of maize or more.
Majority of some of these farmers may not even be aware of these high yield seedlings. The most important thing is that the extension department of the Ministry of Agriculture is the one from time to time that should update farmers as to what is available based on research.
Another area of concern is the availability and affordability of the seedlings.
Presently at the Federal College of Agric, we have a large quantity of seedlings for farmers to plant. So we have them at affordable prices.
Look at the maize now. The maize, you have seen that there is no crack. There is no crack here. And then it's not diseased. It's okay. And there are no deaths.
On its part, Ondo State government has distributed various improved seedlings to farmers free of charge for this 2019 agricultural planting season.
And I'm going to distribute 500,000 cocoa. There must be cocoa revolution.
Ondo State is concentrating on areas where it has comparative advantage in Akure. Doris Ulumoko, NTA News.
But in Kwara State, the focus is quite different, as correspondent Beribe reports that the state government is upscaling agriculture by acquiring acres of land in all sectorial districts to encourage farmers and youth participation.
Like other states in Nigeria, Kwara State is blessed with fertile land suitable for planting food crops such as yam, cassava, guinea corn, maize, and sorghum. Over the years, farmers in the state, according to members of the State Farmers Association, are faced with different challenges, including lack of modern farming equipment, poor road network, and funding. This development has no doubt affected annual yields and productivity of farmers in Kwara State.
We want government to provide tractors and implements for farmers so that they will be able to prepare their land with ease.
We have many crops we harvest, no road to bring it into the town.
In addition, the Kwara Agro Mall is designed to bridge the gap farmers are faced with in terms of agric inputs, equipment, finance, and agro-allied services.
We give them those companies that will take their goods before they even go to production. That will help solve the problem of storage and then market.
Government has provided inputs for all the farmers through their associations. And I told you we have clusters all over Kwara State.
Above all, a key performance indicator has been designed by the present administration in Kwara State to monitor progresses and challenges of farming activities on quarterly basis. Abdulwahid Bibire, NTA News.
The Katsina State government is building synergy with relevant research institutes to provide quality fertilizer and improved seeds for domestic and export use. Correspondent Awal Haliru reports that a framework is also being worked out, not only to enable farmers have access to fertilizer, but also improve their application skills.
Katsina State is endowed with arable fertile land, which prompted a significant percentage of the population to engage in either small-scale or large-scale farming activities for enhanced food production. 1,000 hectares of farmlands are being cultivated for all year-round farming activities by farmers in all parts of the state to ensure food security. Therefore, the provision of improved seed and access to fertilizer, among other inputs, by the concerned authorities to the farmers has assisted immensely in improving high yield over the years.
It's a welcome development. We, even though as a small-scale farmers, we purchase it at affordable price and in an easiest manner.
Katsina State government has procured 35,000 metric tons of fertilizer for sales to small-scale and large-scale farmers in the state at subsidized rate. To ensure that the commodity gets to genuine farmers, it was distributed to the 113 selling centers to cover all the polling units across the state.
The Katsina State government distributed 24,000 metric tons to the small-scale farmers and 1,000 metric tons for the large-scale farmers.
In the same vein, the state government has resuscitated its extension services to educate farmers on new farming techniques for high yield.
The new farming technology actually enables the farmer to double or triple his production.
With these incentives in place and other strategies adopted, there is high expectation by farmers in Katsina State for this year's cropping season. In Katsina, Awal Haliru, NTA News.
And from Lafia, Hamza Musa Makrafi reports that as catalyst for agricultural development and food security, input support to the predominantly farming communities of Nasarawa State is getting attention.
Well, if you randomly select any farmer like Mama Anya, who is very busy, you will find out there is the required synthesis between food security and resource allocation for agriculture to develop in Nigeria.
Adamu Ali and Sandy share a common goal of success in the season as their predicament of lack of access to inputs appear daunting.
Agricultural operations are very timely operations. And when I say timely operations, what I mean is that before commencing the farming, all the inputs must be on ground.
An initiative by the federal government has come just in time to support production value chain with fertilizers, sprayers, and water pumping machines. Stakeholders get together to plug off the distribution and show appreciation. More than 4,000 beneficiaries agree to a repayment plan through palm proceeds. The state government also has similar plans for the farmers to boost production of some 17 crops identified to grow the economy and promote food availability.
There are so many intervention funds, mainly for agriculture, to employ the youth and promote agriculture. And we are embracing each one of them.
The prospect looks bright with freshly harvested crops like maize, granules, and melon, which price has crashed in the markets. But for many, there is still a lot of work to be done as the season progresses with expectations and challenges on the road to agricultural prosperity in Nigeria. Elafia, Hamza Musa Makaripi, NTA News.
Thank you, Hamza. This is Weekend File on the network service of the NTA. Next is the discussion segment with our guest, Professor Kuta Yahaya, expert on Agri-Extension University of Ibadan, who will be reaching us from our network studio in Ibadan. But that will be after this break.
Now me I go ask and say, why all of us go pay 100,000 naira? Say your husband, he want do 70th birthday. She now all of us marry them together. When her mama die, she collects money. Her papa die, she collects money. Her mama die, she collects. You remember when she talked, say she wanted her mama dead body. Mama, you too talk. Now you be glad when they dash me credit anyhow. Imagine, 40-year-old dead body. Why you they laugh now? Now try to bring your money. Mama, no laugh. Not be you, Jare. Now some apropos customer there when they know they mind their own business. Well, I never even begin to give you her gist.
Glow and Maple. Get 5 times your recharge to call all networks. Recharge with *555*PIN#.
Make her sell my market finish first, eh? I will call you back. Oh.
Glow Unlimited.
Congratulations to a legal icon, Honorable Justice Aloy Nwankwo CON. Inaugurated as a judge on the 8th of November 1995, appointed as an acting chief judge in April 2003, and ultimately elevated to the position of a substantive chief judge of Ebonyi State on 26 January 2005, the occasion of your retirement on Friday the 12th of July 2019 calls for 2 profound emotions, celebratory and reflective. As we reflect on your distinguished service to the legal profession and to humanity, we must give glory to God who bestowed his benevolence and grace upon you and paved the path of your success through which you ascended to the summit of your legal career in our beloved state. We celebrate you for your outstanding contributions to our society and to the body of jurisprudence, which will cement your place in legal and secular history in the fullness of time. May the years ahead bring you comfort, further intellectual curiosity, and tireless contributions to the advancement of our state and our nation. Engineer Dr. David Nwezumaye, Governor of Ebonyi State.
There's a smarter way to live with Airtel Binge Plan, the ideal data plan for those heavy data moments. Get a 2 GB daily binge plan for 500 naira. Dial *141# to activate. Live smarter with data.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
One Football Confederation, 24 teams, 6 stadiums, 4 cities, 504 African stars, 1 trophy. The Africa Cup of Nations Egypt 2019 comes alive from June 21 with the showpiece final on July 19, 2019. Watch the 52 matches of the tournament live on Africa's biggest and largest television network, NTA, in partnership with Hot Sports. Be part of the biggest soccer fiesta in the African continent as the Super Eagles go on a bold mission to clinch the prestigious title for the 4th time, to the excitement of millions of fans across the length and breadth of Nigeria. Nigeria's premier sports production and marketing group, Hot Sports, partners with the biggest, the largest, and the #1 television network in Africa, the NTA, to give Nigerians a memorable viewing experience. Boost fan support for the Super Eagles to glory in Egypt. For inquiries, please contact Abubakar on 0803-331-0175 and Felix on 0803-308-2375. NTA, you can't beat the rich.
You can follow us on all our social media platforms: Facebook at NTA Network News, Instagram at NTA Network, Twitter at NTA News Now, YouTube at NTA News Online. Or visit www.nta.ng. For live streaming, visit www.nta.ng/live. Now, you can stay updated on the go, be it on your TV, iPhone, laptop, or iPad, or download the NTA mobile application from your Play Store or App Store. NTA, you can't beat the rich.
And my guest, Professor Kota Yahya, expert on Agri-Extension, University of Ibadan, now joins me in the studio. Of course, Prof is joining me from Ibadan Network Center. Professor Yahya, good evening and welcome to Weekend File.
Good evening. Thank you very much.
All right, it's indeed good to have you join us today. Let's begin by asking this question. Can you give us a sense of the 2019 farming prospects, based on your observation of certain inevitability factors since the commencement of farming season this year?
Well, thank you very much. I think it has been very exciting to see that the rains have been consistent. Farmers are there out in the field, and we are seeing the efforts of states across the country, and we appreciate what they are doing. But the perspectives of the farmers is very critical in this endeavor. We commend government for their efforts so far, but principally, if you look at the discussion so far, I would like to take off from Hamza McCarthy. He said it's still a long way to agricultural prosperity. We commend the efforts of government at the policy level and interventions at various levels, especially addressing the critical issues in terms of access and availability of inputs, commendable. However, one of the critical missing links is the agricultural extension component, interpretation and relating with the farmers who are the ultimate producers, and the development along the value chain. So let me say that critically from what you see happening across the states where we see some of these reports is that we need to step up our efforts at getting information across to the farmers. And professionally, those who are designed to achieve this are the extension people, and that by their training. Unfortunately, the moribund structure we have in our agricultural system is not helpful. Most of the interventions from private entities, unfortunately, the reports have not sought the opinion of some of the private entrepreneurs in the agricultural sector. You discover that they are relying on private sector driven extension service providers, where they are in tune with the modern practices and to address some of the challenges. However, we must also be conscious of the fact that the issue of climate change is a reality. And some of the challenges that farmers face, especially after going to mass production, they end up without guarantee for their production. There is no structure that guarantees their production in terms of marketing, whereby you have off-takers to take up at the glut moment. Farmers end up producing. Sometimes they go to the market and leave it there to waste, where we are talking about challenges of storage facilities, where we're talking about the challenges of some of the preservations. And as you can see, access to even quality seeds is a challenge. In some instances, farmers end up even buying seeds from the open market and cannot give them the guarantee of what they need. However, with the lessons I've seen from Niger State, where the International Fund for Agricultural Assisted Value Chain Development Program, I see a real hope, especially in rice, where some 4 years ago, at the inception of the program, you have 1.7 metric tons per hectare production. Now to about 2018 harvest season, you have 7.2. That's a quantum leap. So I believe if that kind of example and lesson can be adopted across our various sectors, especially in fisheries, in livestock, in crops, it will change the tide, and have every conviction that those who are to do this interpretation and to facilitate the accurate cultural practices in the agriculture sector are the extension professionals who are trained to communicate and relate with the farmers based on the intricacies of what they need to do at the right time, especially the timeliness in every aspect of agricultural practice. So I therefore commend the current government for its effort of the practical moves to address some of the fundamental challenges that have clouded our agricultural system for a very long time. So for me, the agricultural promotion policy should go beyond the policy transaction, but rather engaging all the stakeholders across the value chain so that both producers, processors, marketers, and even the end users should form part of the discussion and engagement in a way that some of the issues that are germane for our march towards food security, where the issue of affordability, not only access, is a critical mass. If you look at the purchasing power of an average citizen, is a challenge because you go to the open market, you see the foods are there, but their purchasing powers are inadequate. So I beg on the federal government, especially the Empower initiative, to engage some of these young people and learn from what IIT has done in the agropreneur program, whereby young graduates, including medical doctors, are being trained on modern practices in agriculture, and they are now serious agropreneurs. So I believe the roadmap is treating agriculture as a business and injecting and training those who are supposed to be engaged in the interpretation process, particularly extension professionals who do the magic. And I have no doubt in my mind, if there is a massive revolution, that every state in Nigeria today should employ graduates of agricultural extension or those who have fundamental or basic background in agriculture. We can give them the basic training so that they can help these our massive farmers across Nigeria, and they can change the tide. And the march towards food security in Nigeria will be a question of the past. I have no doubt in my mind.
All right, Professor Yaya, you have indeed touched on a number of issues, very crucial matters concerning the agricultural sector. But you see, our concern this evening is actually to see how the current farmers in the country are doing, vis-a-vis 2019 farming season. But of course, you touched very, very pertinent, issues in agriculture. And your jurisdiction is on extension service, which is where I'm going now. You talked about it very briefly. But now, it's a major challenge in the entire agricultural sector, the absence of agri-extension services of which we need to educate some farmers. In one of the reports we watched, some farmers are not even aware of improved seeds and seedlings. Right, so now how can we bring back the services of the agri-extension personnel to be fully engaged in this? Briefly, please.
It's easy because today in Nigeria, we have virtually every university in Nigeria have a faculty of agriculture, and the departments of agricultural extension are common, and we have colleges of agriculture churning out graduates of agricultural extension, but have no jobs and are not being engaged. So the only way to go about it is to open another portal for agricultural extension, so that every state in Nigeria will have access to people who can assist farmers to provide information. Because information that you made available at research stations, at universities, are wasting there, nobody to interpret it for the farmers. And the farmers need them more in order to address the issues. However, the current farming season, you can see farmers are moving in mass, but the issue is that when you don't have access to information, when you don't have the extension professionals to fast track some of these strategies, is still going to be a challenge for our production system and is going to undermine our march towards achieving maximum potentials in our agricultural system. So I call on the government at all levels to engage extension officers at various cadres. Where there is a shortfall, we can provide training and retraining for them. And that is why you are established institutes like AMT in Ilori, and where you have NRL Zaria, and virtually every Department of Agriculture Extension can provide the basics that can assist this manpower that are needed to help farmers to get out of the woods.
I want to ask you the very final question for this part of the program. Let's do that quickly. Many people predicted that we're going to have a shortfall in terms of rice production and other crops too as a result of the flooding of last year that affected some very, very key states when it comes to agriculture. So what are you looking at? Are we going to have a bumper harvest?
Well, the most important thing is part of the information. When you see the NIMED, will come up with information about the predictions, and it's not translated to the farmers along the bank of River Niger, River Benue, and most of the rivers. You know that most of these farmers will not understand that what happened last year may not happen again. They need to be educated, and precisely, you need extension professionals to reach out to them, not only educating them about improving their production system, but also to take care of some of the vagaries that are likely to come with the production system, including weather, which is climate change, which we know is a reality. So in essence, we are talking about climate smart agriculture. We must educate farmers, and therefore we also should look forward to taking advantage of when we have excess. We should be thinking beyond the rain-fed agriculture now. We should maximize our potential in irrigation agriculture. We should take a cue from the wonderful job Fadama is doing across the floodplains of Nigeria, whereby farmers are now into dry season agriculture based on the fact that they can take advantage of technologies available if we cannot continue to allow flood to devastate our production system. Rain-fed agriculture is not the only way we can survive the bumper harvest. I remember there is a location in Niger State, the Tunga Cow Irrigation Project. Farmers in this community harvest rice in 3 cycles. 1, rain-fed. 2, dry season agriculture. They continue to have bumper harvest around the whole year because of availability of irrigation facility. And I'm very confident the same thing can be said in Kano State and in Sokoto State, where you have irrigation projects that are doing well. Now you have the combination in some of the hydro projects that are going on, that are a combination not only for supply of power, but for irrigation. So government must step up in the maximization of our potentials in terms of irrigated agriculture, so that you take care of the vagaries or the disadvantages or issues that arise as a result of flooding across the country.
All right. At this point, I'd like to thank you, Professor Yaya, for your time and insight. We appreciate that. Thank you very much indeed. Professor Yaya is, of course, of the Agri Extension University of Ibadan, and he just joined us from our studio in Ibadan. You are still watching Weekend File. Let's take another break.
One football confederation, 24 teams, 6 stadiums, 4 cities, 504 African stars, 1 trophy. The Africa Cup of Nations Egypt 2019 comes alive from June 21 with the showpiece final on July 19, 2019. Watch the 52 matches of the tournament live on Africa's biggest and largest television network, NTA, in partnership with Hot Sports. Be part of the biggest soccer fiesta in the African continent as the Super Eagles go on a bold mission to clinch the prestigious title for the 4th time, to the excitement of millions of fans across the length and breadth of Nigeria. For inquiries, please contact Abubakar on 0803-331-0175 and Felix on 0803-308-2375. NTA, you can't beat the rich.
And now in our sports update, Olumide Eguntola reports that 15 male and female clubs set for the 2nd edition of the Nigeria Volleyball Premier League in Asaba, Delta State.